All right, now that we're up, I'm going to do a quick audio check. So, if I can find the remote, that is. Audio check. Audio check. All right, sounds good. I'm going to do a sync check here for a second. See how far out I am. Raising my right arm now. Yeah, so it's synced up now. I think what happened last time was my in-house live stream from that camera lagged, and I needed to refresh it because that's on the delay, and I guess that continued normal speed. But anyway, what's up, everybody? Live now. Going to discuss the plan for today. My right finger is still a tiny bit messed up. I'm quite confident that it's not torn. It's not really even sprained. It's just the tendon, ligament is just still a little bit sore. I think if I gave it a couple more days, I'd probably be back at 100%. But I'm not going to lose a couple more days. I'm just going to go mostly slopers. Trying to go a little light on crimps today with my right hand. So we'll set a new route. Not so sure that my original plan of using the new holds is going to work. I tried sanding them down today, and some of them are just being really finicky with getting to that level. So I've already modified my molds. Not that you guys care about any of this stuff, I'm just talking out loud. Modified my molds already so that in the future that won't be a problem, but I think I've only got one, maybe two usable pieces out of that. But either way, I still have some extras here that are mostly crimps, but one or two sloper pieces. It'll probably be useful to set something cool today. I'm going to try to use the volume a little more. We've already got that tan one up there that's not in use on any route, so that's the objective, is to set something using that tan sloper up there. And whatever of these we need. Got a couple of little smaller pieces. This would be more like a crimp, just because it's rounded doesn't mean that it's going to be a sloper for me. But in any case, probably going to be a longer stream than my usual. Along those lines, I actually think I have figured out what went wrong with my camera, or what has been going wrong with my camera continuously. I'm going to put this microphone over here. In the past is that the battery was charging. It just stopped when it got to 100% and then started draining again, and the charger didn't kick back on. So it ran out of steam and then just shut off. My plan this time is to run it for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, then put it on the charger so that if it does do the same thing again, gets to 100 and then starts draining again, it'll be fine. We'll go for the normal duration that I'm shooting for. Probably an hour and a half, 2 hours here. So I have not yet warmed up. I know that sucks. It's super boring to watch somebody just, do band pull aparts for 5-10 minutes, but I got out here as soon as I could because the sanding didn't go. I was planning on starting like 30 minutes early, and I always do this. I plan on starting 30 minutes early and then wind up 5-10 minutes late without having done a warm-up yet. But the sanding was really what screwed me over. And I got to take a shower after sanding down polyurethane too, otherwise I'll just have little tiny dust particles all over my clothes and arms and hair that'll constantly be going up my nose as I'm climbing. And that's no good. I'd rather not die 30 years too early. So, long line of excuses to say that, I'll try and be a little bit more early in the future. Again, not that anybody cares. Probably see the red circle. If you're here at all, you see the red circle, and then you click it. Or if you're watching VOD, I guess. then none of that matters either. I did remember this time to bring out all of my shapes. So I wanted to show off some of these. These are the PLA 3D printed positives. So this piece will be molded, well, it will be textured and then molded into silicone to pour the actual holes that will go on the wall. But I don't know, just a couple of quick samples for what I think are some of the more interesting pieces here. In case anybody brings that up later, I actually remembered to bring the box out this time. But yeah, so at some point over the last 2 or 3 weeks, my A4 pulley, the ligament that runs between essentially right over your middle knuckle, middle section of your finger, for my right middle finger. Middle section of my right middle finger was super sensitive. I must have overstrained it. Probably, I can only assume, doing something out here. Also could have been from like single arm roller deadlifts that I've been trying to incorporate in my regular routine. But it took me a few days to where it was sort of like tender to poke. Like if I pressed on my finger, it would hurt a little bit. And actually last week after climbing was when I felt the best in a long time. And I think it's just, getting everything moving and warmed up and getting the blood flow going was helpful for it, which is another reason why I'm deciding not to take another few days off, is I think that as long as I do this smart, I should actually get a benefit out of this instead of worsening it. So once again, probably won't be the most intense training session that I've ever done. Won't even be close to it, but we'll still get a lot of productivity and some good mileage on some of the routes that I'm trying to really dial in here. Like green doesn't really have any right hand crimps. They're all jugs or side pulls, really big holes, so I'm not super worried about overstraining myself on those. We'll do some green, probably skip pink yet again. We'll do some of the dyno route that's not labeled, minus the first move, the big jump. And we'll do some blue, because blue is pretty smooth, with the exception of just this starting hold, which isn't really that strong because my body position's usually pretty good with that one. We'll do some blue also. Oh, and probably yellow. The ones I'm really sort of worried about, yellow has no real hard right-hand moves. The one I'm sort of worried about is orange and red, my typical warm-up route, because of that crimp, and there's a couple of others that are sort of a little bit strenuous on the right hand. So I may not be doing my normal setup with those, but that's fine. We'll just make green and yellow our warm-ups for this time around. All right, those are the 1.5s. Pants keep falling down. It's awkward. I need to do a couple of hangs, a couple more dynamic warm-ups for my shoulders, and then we'll be ready to roll. That doesn't feel good. I'm pretty sure once I get moving, I'll feel okay. I really haven't trained super hard in like 2 weeks. It's been my recovery week for regular lifting as well, on top of basically taking it easy for a while now with climbing for at least 1 week. I think it was 2 weeks ago when I did my hardest climbing session in quite a while. So I feel pretty good overall. It's mostly just this one finger problem. Otherwise I would crank it back up to 10 for today, but like I said though, we could still get some quality training in on my weakness, which is slopers. When my finger's not injured, crimps are actually sort of my strong point as of right now. With hand strength and overall, my weakness in climbing is actually being able to climb. I'm stronger than I am smart when it comes to technique. So in routes that I can guerrilla my way up a wall, I tend to do a whole lot better than when I need to be super, super precise. In comparative difficulty for the average climber, I would say. Like I'm above my normal grade, above my average grade in terms of strength and crimp routes, and far below my averaged out grade for slopers, slabs, and any like specialty high precision routes. So let's try and fix that. Just gonna do like a free traverse here, moving slow on any holds just to help warm up. Pads need to be moved out further. Yeah, that tan one's going to be tough. That's good though. We'll work that into something. Be an interesting intermediate move to the roof. Fell off too soon, so I'm going to go up and do that again. I am really liking the 2-camera sync, but I feel like I may be better off with a less orthogonal angles. So first off, I'm going to adjust this one. Like that. And then this one I think, it was more like 45 degrees, kind of where I'm standing now. I think it might be better off. Let me bump this over. Hope I don't mess anything up. Something like that. I think that's probably preferable. You still get a good cross-reference of depth. You know what though, now this one is too far. I think I just tilted it, didn't I? Yeah, alright. Bear with me guys, still new at this camera stuff. Like big time. Alright, that looks pretty good. If that's not good, somebody say something. Looks pretty good to me from here, so. No, it's too crooked. How's that? It's crooked again, huh? You know what? Maybe it's because it's on this box here. How about there? All right, that's good enough. I'm done wasting time. Yeah, that's good enough. You see the whole wall. That's the point. Do need to bump these out just a tiny bit more. On this side. Now I can get my feet down to the bottom of them. All right, let's get rolling. I'm gonna do yellow as the first route this time. Unusual, but again, this is about warming up a finger more than anything this time, so. Don't know if it's because I'm doing it first, which is unusual. Felt really different that time. Not necessarily bad, just different. There appears to have been a bug on the other side of one of those holds. Squished him, I guess. Oh well. Rip. We'll rest for a minute. And then, I don't know, what do I think? Green can't be the next easiest. We'll do red. Red's probably easier than, no, we'll do orange. Orange, then red, then green, then blue. give it a little longer first. Shirt's too small. Just one laundry too many because I didn't get any bigger. With the changes, I think orange's finish is actually more difficult than yellow's because yellow gets the nice straight in line match on the final hold. They match on the final hold the same way. The last two moves are the same, but the feet position is different. And orange on this tiny little spike that pokes up is actually harder to pull off without cutting feet, which I could probably easily get away with because the holds are so good on the roof. But I choose not to because, again, that's part of my weakness is having good body positioning. So forcing myself to have better body positioning instead of compensating by just momentum and power is, in my opinion, good. For me, anyway. We'll give it one more minute. Then we do red. The only reason I did red is second, or I did orange first, I should say, because I haven't done red yet. That side pole on the far right side has been recently changed from this big old yellow thing over here, which is a very nice, very in-cut, large hold, to barely in-cut. I'm not going to call it a crimp, but it's like it's a lip. It has a tiny curl around the outside edge, and that's really all the purchase you can get on it with your fingertips. So that change alone made the route significantly harder at that point, and it's a right hand move. So my middle finger, it'll be all right now. I'm confident about that, but I wanted to make sure I warmed up first. So this one's got kind of an awkward start, but not so bad. I actually felt more strain on the undercling on my finger than I did on the side pole, which is weird. I guess I don't really need the side pole that much because everything's still straight up and down. Boost myself up further, get more advantage on the undercling with the left hand. Having it be lower means I can relieve a lot of the power off that right hand on that side pole. Makes it a lot easier. We'll go for a minute or two and rest, and then fiber green. I need more problems. I need to be able to vary this up a lot more rather than doing the same thing over and over and over again, because these, I just feel like I'm never going to fall on some of these routes ever again. Yellow can still trip me up with this heel hook. I need to make sure I have good precision with my body momentum when I come off the wall to go up to the next move. But stuff like the, and I guess like red is burly enough that I feel like I get some mileage out of it just by doing it. Like, it gives me a pump, but orange, I'm just thinking now is just too easy. I already made it harder twice, but swapped a big hold here for this guy that's already been using some red. The foot changed. I don't know what to do next. Got to find some way to make orange harder though, to get more out of it. Or we just, move on and go to the harder stuff. But even my warm-up problems, I kind of want to have the smallest threat of failure, right? Like, it's almost like, why bother at all if it's not challenging you at all? So, might end up scrapping orange. I can't find an easy way to modify that going forward. Maybe something even as simple as just, moving one of these left or right would throw off the center of mass enough to make it challenging again. Green, on the other hand, this is pretty much exactly the difficulty that I want most of my working problems to be, where I can do it. Green and pink are both like this. I can do it. I have done it before, but my percentage rate is still quite low. Probably 50% or less. Pink, it's less than that. So, show this one real quick. This is also another somewhat awkward start, but I guess that's normal since I have a straight wall at the bottom. Mess that up. I need to switch my feet again. Right's supposed to go up here, left here. So I have to basically get all the way under to get to that gray one. I don't know if the gray one will be the finish or not. It's not even a completed assigned problem yet. It's all still sort of R&D. Not that any of this is ever really completed. I can change it whenever I want. But that particular finish sequence from green to gray to the far black piece over on the very right side is the way that blue was originally supposed to finish, and at this point in time still does finish. I think. I don't know. I did something different last time, but in the last case, blue had, blue, let me get my laser pointer. The blue problem before would go up to the green here, then to the gray, and then to this one. And it's awkward because you have no solid foot down here. This is your last closest foot below you, and it's too far away, for me at least. I'm not tall enough for this. So I have to use this and to go from there to the top, this one. I think, I don't know, I should look at the VOD from last week. The other option that the green route will likely do is from here to here. And I think that's a better option because in the green route, this pinch here in the middle is still on. So it's a lot higher up than this little semicircle crescent here. And for that reason, I can use my foot on this little edge right here, that corner of it, to get me to here quite easily if I had to. So we'll make it this one for green and that one for blue. And we'll see how that plays out. I'll probably go ahead and I'll do blue now. This is still one of my favorites out of all the ones that I've said. This has, I think, my favorite move. I like yellow with the heel hook to a bump on the right hand. I like that, and I also like this cross through move with blue. That is pretty fun. And I don't fail on it anymore, but it actually started as a sort of low percentage move as well. So this move right here. Fail on the next part, but I can never decide whether I want my left foot higher or further down. What I ought to do is put this in and use it as a toe hold. I have 0 toe hooks on my wall already, so it would be good training to have one of those in place anyway. And I think the second thing is just thinking realistically here, in fairness, if this were a rock face, there would be something over here that I could push on in some way or another. Or there would be a corner like there is that I would be able to hook my toe on. So I kind of feel like, you know, in a sense of fairness and realism, replication and making a genuine route, I should put that in. I don't even know if that would help, but we'll try it. We'll see. I'm going to cheat and jump ahead to this position. I don't know. It feels different today. I don't know if I'm just scared of falling over sideways into this. The last 2 times I climbed this, I got it without really much difficulty. But I don't feel stable at all. I feel like if I go for it, I'm absolutely going to peel right off the side, crash into this. So there we go. Just need to do it. Yeah, I was just scared. Not the best word. I was unreasonably cautious. We'll go with that. Spare my ego too, among other things. I wonder sometimes if I would be better off not having the ladder here and instead laying this sort of down up against the fireplace and then having my second one, which is over here, like on top of it in the pipe. That way it would essentially land on the pads on the fireplace and bounce away, rather than just having this big blocker in the way. Because I'm never going to roll into this with enough momentum from down here anyway, so I wonder if this does me any good at all, other than peace of mind. If I'm going to fall in that direction, it's going to be while I'm up here and swinging out, like on that specific move off the yellow one. So, I don't know. I think that might be a consideration, but I'm going to jump back to green, and then after I complete this one, because I will, we will, I still have the dyno route too. We'll do the dyno route and then we'll set something new using the slopers. So, for sure, got the blue one already up here, and that tan one will be in somehow. Don't know how yet, but it will be in. We'll put something else probably on the volume. That way I'll be able to get right underneath it. Maybe make this a foot in. Find some way to traverse using slopers to the right side and then up. I think that might be cool. We'll have to scrounge a few more holes out, but I actually don't have very many lateral movement boulders. Most of mine are all kind of arcs. They start, they go up. I have very few that have big moves that go across that aren't right at the bottom. The blue one is probably the only one, so we'll add something like that and see how it goes. The green. We're going to go to the far one on the right with green. Got lost for a second. Extra graceless finish. I'll take it for now, but that was not good. That was way less support than I was expecting to get from my left foot. Slipped off that twice. Sort of amazed I didn't fall when I slipped when I had both hands on the gray one though. It's not a very particularly good hold. That one's rough though. The other thing I would like to set is I would like to set a move that goes basically horizontal in the same plane. And I think this is like typical of traverse problems. There's a boulder in, where is it? It's called the Iron Man Traverse. And I think it's Joshua Tree, maybe. I don't remember where, but a lot of the boulder is basically, like if you imagine moving down like a high wire. There's a name for that. Like, Think like, what am I trying to say? So think like a rope bridge, right? A rope suspended from 2 points over like a cliff. And if you were to move across that, you know, crawling, that's how it looks. So I'm wondering if there's a way I can make that work with the pieces I have here. Basically just making only having holds in essentially a straight line. Nothing below it. That would force you to crawl until you get over far enough that you can go up. That might be fun. I'll have to push the pads in and then see about doing that. We're gonna do one more thing first though, and I think that's the dyno route. So this route is actually very, very simple. There's only 4 holes. The whole thing is just four holes. This beige red chicken head with the purple tape on it goes up to this tan one. So it's a mini jug. It's not a crimp, but it's also not super good either. Over to the green horn that's being used a lot. And then the final move is all the way out to here on the most far roof piece. For this, I need to set up this other pad. There's a decent chance, low but existing chance, that I'll go careening off this way. I should probably have even more set up, or a spotter would actually be the ideal choice, but it's just me, so no spotters this time. I'm going to skip the very first dyno move. I'll give you an idea of what it is. It's basically just a campus move. It's actually not a dyno, it's a campus move. And there's no feet at all. I can use the wall if I wanted to smear, but in this particular instance, it's better if I don't. And it's just big explosive pull up. Right hand goes out to catch that tan one. But, because I don't want to put a whole bunch of high speed impact force on my tendons right now and ligaments, I'm going to skip ahead to where I've already completed that move to train the rest of it. And then maybe next week when I'm feeling better, I'll bring that back in. So the foothold I'm currently on is not in. So I would need to do that. And that's why I set up the pad. But I like it. Dangerous? Maybe. Worth it? Probably. This is exactly the type of thing I actually need to train. So, did the camera get bumped? It seems like the camera might have gotten shoved, but so much for putting no contact force on my right hand either. I just jumped off the wall entirely and tried to catch one-handed, but I actually feel like I hurt my left hand. I wonder if I landed on my wrist, my left wrist. I'm all right, but that's that route. So the first move is, oof. Didn't even realize I busted open my finger. I don't know how that happened. Make sure I don't get banned for bleeding on stream here. Wonder if I got like a splinter somewhere. Probably. So I think right above where the contact point is for this hold is one of my bolt holes. It's probably not sanded down perfectly. Probably got my finger caught in here. Sliced open the tip of my finger. Take a look at it in the sink. Oh, that hurts. I don't know if rock chalk is like an irritant or what, but I also don't know if that showed up on the camera. I'm hoping it didn't. But anyway, in the future I'll probably get a big ladder up and put a big piece of tape or something over top of the hole, just so I don't slice myself open yet again next time I try that. But I will be trying that again. As I was saying before I was interrupted by bleeding everywhere, this first move is fairly precise in a power sense. I have done it a couple of times. I've missed it a whole lot more times, but that's okay. That's how a campus start would be for something like this. The second move is surprisingly easy. It looks like it should be very difficult, but this is just sticking out so far from the wall. If this were like one of these little crimp holes, it would be nearly impossible. But because it's not, because it sticks out so far, I can get my foot up here and almost stand on my right foot and right arm, swing over to the left, grab the green. It's that final move that's difficult because you basically have to cut feet. It's way too, I'm not tall enough, it's way too far away. So that's going to need to be a final dyno move, which will be cool. We find it a good thing to train for. So in the future, I'm probably going to take this pad and lay it out over here too, right in front of where the camera is, just in case I overshoot by that far. It's a long way to go. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but it's a fairly big distance between the wall and where the camera is. The end of my pads are right here. But there's a squat rack directly above the camera. So if I do go too far, I'm going to crash into a giant pile of steel, and that won't be fun. So this this cut that I got on my finger, it almost certainly came from the wood. I can't imagine this happening from the plastic holes. Might end up cutting me short tonight, so I apologize about that if I end up not being able to continue. Hey, guess what? It's on my right middle finger too, the one that's already injured with the, or on the precipice of being injured with a ligament injury. So maybe time to just cast that and take it out of the equation altogether. In any case, I should still be able to set. So I'm going to take my shoes off real quick, go grab the holes that I recently finished up today, and pop those over here, and we'll put something up. I don't know what, I don't know if I'll be able to climb it, but we'll put something up. Alright, so these are still a little dusty, but what we've got is this smoke colored, is the ones that I recently poured. This pinch, which I'm dubious about the integrity of because it was my last pour of the batch, and it turns all viscous, turns all gloppy by the time it starts to solidify in the pot. So the last one, it needs to be sanded down pretty far. This one, which I will not put on the wall because it needs to be sanded even further. And I got little dust particles floating everywhere. Wonderful. And then this one, which is the one I'm excited to see how it will perform. It's basically a dual mini jug slash pinch. It's got mini jugs on both sides, left and right. This one's more in cut, sharper, better angle. This one's bigger, so better as a pinch maybe.
and there's more total distance, more total length. Either way, it should be decent to compare the performance of either side for different routes and stuff, but I'm probably just going to ignore the little hairs of plastic that are floating off these. Oh, and I got tons of little feet too, lots of feet to go on, wherever feet need to go. Specifically on this bottom panel here, at some point this, from the lowest bolt hole all the way up to like the third one, is just going to be covered in feet. And you know, specifically for campus endurance training, not campus, for traverse endurance training, should be a good time. I'll be able to basically move my foot anywhere I want across the bottom of it. We'll go for long sessions on that, just back and forth on the lowest two panels as a way of building up, essentially as arm training, not actually climbing training. So, I get my bolts. I think my short ones will be good for most of these. I've been making, all of my recent hole creations have been very, very shallow, which is good for a couple of reasons. Less expensive bolts. You can use the short ones instead of the ones that are like 5 inches long. Faster 3D print times, which is always good. And less material that needs to be expended both in the silicone to make the mold and the polyurethane for the holes themselves. So you get better value just by making it smaller. Now that's not always possible, of course, but a lot of my recent ones have been like that, where it's just barely here at the part where it actually connects. I'm going to say maybe 3-4 centimeters of material. No, it's not even that much, probably. Probably 2 to 3 centimeters of material between where the washer goes and the top of where the top of the bolt will be. So that's nice. And then this one is probably a little bit thicker. Yeah, gonna need a much bigger bolt for that guy. This big sphere is exactly the type of sloper that I want to use, but I'm worried about something in particular on this. Is I think that when it was poured, it's like holding onto a baseball. I think when it was poured, it was at an angle, so it was tilted this way. You can kind of see that maybe if I turn it this way, you might be able to see the 3D print lines. These are basically artifacts from the printing that I didn't resin over well enough. And these are supposed to be concentric circles to the bottom layer, and they're not. They tilt. And I think when it was poured and when I sanded it, I just didn't have it right. So we'll try using a longer bolt. I'm becoming more convinced that I got a big splinter in my fingertip here. Sucks. If I can find my longer bolts. Maybe this one. Nope, still not close. Maybe this guy. Nope, still not enough. There we go. Too much. Not enough. This is just part of how it goes a lot of times with bolts. But honestly, it seems like it might be perpendicular. Explain what I'm talking about here is you want the surface that mates with the wall to be parallel with the washer, and it's not. As you can see, probably, see how skewed that angle is where the bolt is coming out that direction compared to the plane of where it meets the wall. That's not going to work. I'm going to need to sand this back down again and remove a whole bunch more material to make it parallel, but it's almost a guess. I make wider bolt channels specifically for that, keep in mind. But what's up, Calvin? You missed all the good part, man. This is just boring setting stuff. I think I injured myself, so probably going to be cutting all the rest of the climbing for the day short, but I'll work for another 15, 20 minutes or so to try to get something put together here for the next time. Blasted my finger on one of the bolt holes here. I reached up, dug my hand into it. I'm pretty sure I got a big old splinter in my fingertip, but I'll get that out later, not on stream. Nobody needs to see that. Unless you guys want to see that, in which case, like, check my Twitter later or something, I don't know. Some people like gruesome details, so. Still just trying to find the ideal bolt length for some of these pieces. So I need to make sure that I've got enough threads that come past the edge of the bolt or past the edge of the hold that'll stick in the wall to where it won't wind itself loose if it does in fact spin. Normally they don't spin, especially if they have a set screw, but this particular case it's a sloper. And it doesn't have a set screw because A, it would get in the way of like the architecture of the hold. Secondly, on these you almost always expect somebody to be pulling straight through. So they're going to be pulling to the left and right of the bolt in equal margin, which will mean that you won't get a rotational torque either way. You'll just get a force downward. So it won't be likely to spin out on you. Doesn't always hold up like that. Sometimes they're a little more unpredictable, especially if you use them on like side pulls or a toe gets pushed onto a corner of one or something, then you can get some wacky stuff. But all right, so this one feels excessive here. It's a little extra. It's just going to mean I have to crank with the ratchet for a little longer, but I don't really see any alternative better size one that I have, so we'll use that. Let's start thinking about, though, how this is actually going to be put together. So what I want to do, and I don't know how practical this is, what I want to do is have a route that's basically almost like this. I think I just need bigger holds for my skill level if I were to do this. But I don't know. Crimping may not be useful like that. But on the bright side, we've got a couple of new holds. So what I can do is use one of these right away. And we'll give this a test drive. See how this works as like a mini jug. I can already tell I'm going to like this one, but this is the recent one that has been finished. So there's a whole bunch more that are ready to go for the next phase. in terms of like development and casting. I got the box over here. I showed some of it at the beginning of the stream, but you know, I don't mind showing these off. So, got a couple more possible next options. There's some really cool, interesting shapes. I don't know how this one will actually climb, but this is by far my favorite design appeal. And then this one I think will climb pretty well, even if it is a little bit predictable and boring, I suppose. I've got another one here, and I also really like. Kind of looks like shells. Doesn't quite fit with the theme of all the others quite as well, but I still think it looks cool regardless. But I don't know which one of those I'm going to go with next. Yeah, I made. I didn't print that one yet, but I made the next one in the set, and it's really similar to. It probably looks the closest to this guy. It's a big version of this. It's got like a little corkscrew twist on the top. I don't know how visible it is. It looks like I can see it, but this is what I basically made yesterday, just the big version that's about this size of the same general shape. So yeah, I need to print that one out still. I haven't run the printer. I was printing other stuff today for workshop purposes, so I didn't have it available to print my next piece, but I'll probably get to that, later tonight before I go to bed. I'll put it on and just lock this in here. Got a set screw spot for this, but we won't use that quite yet. I might need to see how it feels, but the idea is basically to use this row of T-nuts and this row of T-nuts. Maybe the next one down as well. So these 3 holes are going to be in. From over here, moving all the way across to where we get up to here, to where we'll finally be able to transition over to slopers going forward. And it'll be a long traverse route, basically on the same plane, that'll force me to be more or less horizontal the whole way. Again, good example, real world boulder that does this is called Ironman Traverse, and I believe Joshua Tree National Park. It might be Waco Tanks, I'm not sure, but it's a boulder that basically does that, and you have to climb sideways along it using heel hooks, lots of heel hooks. So, trying to set an equivalent of that. We'll do something like this guy to be a good position for a heel all the way over. In fact, let's go ahead and start noting down which ones we want to be in on this climb. So if I find my laser, I don't know what I did with it. I don't know. Must have put it down somewhere. I have a habit of doing that. So this one will be in. This guy will be a start. I think this will be a good hard start for a crimp. The one we just put up there will obviously be in. It might be a start. Don't know. Probably make this in. And the goal would be to move across. Gonna need another guy over here. Something fairly difficult would be good. Let's see what I got. For this, I should move the camera. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna move the camera. Oh man, I'm bleeding everywhere again. All right, give me a minute to clean out my fingers here, so I don't bleed all over the new holes. And get banned. I've heard that basically no blood is permissible on a stream. And I've always wondered how that works for like IRL streamers if they get cut or something. Like, it'd be a real insult to injury if you're like, you know, walking around or something like that. You trip, bruise your elbow. Not only did you fall down, but now you're also banned from Twitch. I'm sure they'd be more reasonable than that, but you know what? I really shouldn't say that because it's Twitch. They're not really known for being more reasonable than that in a lot of cases. That might be harsh, but all right. So let's take a look at what we got. All sorts of holes. This one is a definite yes. You can already tell. Positivity in that is going to be golden for this type of setup. Some weaker ones in here. Here's another pinch. Should have been using this one. And this guy, this pocket will be useful as well. So this pocket will probably, you know what, we'll make this one a little higher. Something like this guy right here. Make it a little higher and we'll angle it to the opposite way that this one is facing. Give a much easier way to transition. At least for now. In fact, while I'm over here scrounging for bolts, I'm going to grab the others that I'm pretty sure are definite yeses. We'll use this pinch at some point. This ledge is a yes. This is a yes. This will be used later. So, got the gray, big piece. This brown foot. I'm probably going to throw that on top. Don't need another one of those yet. This is too weak. This is an absolute yes, preferably early in the route so that it will be usable as a heel hook. Early in the route and low so that it's a good heel hook. In fact, this is so positive that I wonder if this is such a ridiculous hold. This came in a set of generally fairly difficult holds, but you can just look at the way that this angle is. So if this is the wall, straight up and down on this face, this angle is, it's got so much space, you can get like your entire hand on top of this. In fact, maybe that's what it's meant for, is so that you can palm down on it like this. Maybe I should try and use it that way. So instead of putting it early, put it at the end. But it's so weird because it came in the same set as these guys. Some of these just like brutal half pad, single pad pieces that it's just weird because it's so good. It's almost like too good. It's obnoxiously good. It's in the set with everything that's impossible. Maybe it was for counterbalance. I don't know. But we will get bolts. This one's too long also. You never can find the optimal size for these. That's the optimal size. That's exactly how much I want to have it sticking out. Can't see it, can you? All right, I want to bring this up just a little bit. All right, this one. This is the optimum amount of distance we want the bolt to stick forward out of the back. So we got to find that for this. This, and we'll go with these two. So, grab my box of bolts. In fact, I'm going to move the box of bolts over here rather than the other way around. That's way too much. Something like this will be good. Yeah, that's good. Probably get another one of those for this one. Yep, that's good. And what else do we have here? That might be a little bit on the short side, so I'll go the next one up. Good. And this lime green color pinch. That'll be good enough. Maybe get away with the short one, but we'll go with that. So, let's go ahead and put this up. Aim the camera once again. Check my battery while I'm here. Almost dead. Probably a perfect time to test my theory, to be honest. So, I keep thinking that, I keep forgetting that the left side of my screen is taken up by the other camera. So I'm missing with my angle a lot, but grab this charger, hook it into the camera. Hope that didn't throw everything off too much. All right, yeah, that's still acceptable. It's still moving. Why is it still moving? Yep, did it again. All right, this guy, heel hook, massive heel hook potential on this. We'll move it right underneath what we're going to consider the start hold. This might even end up being the first move, is to bring the foot in. A lot of these old kilter ones like this, as much as I love these holds, the older versions from this company do not have set screws. So there's nowhere to put a screw in. You just have to drill right through either the plastic itself or accept that it doesn't have it. And for a lot of them, that's fine because they're very straight up and down. But some pieces, like, it's not visible on the camera, but some of the larger pieces, you really get a huge torque on them when they don't have a set screw in place and they can spin easy. The piece at the top is probably just visible on this camera. Let me see if I can point to it using the camera. A little bit further up. It's got two pieces of tape, blue and yellow on it, that that one spun on me like 4 or 5 different times. And I eventually just had to drill a hole straight through the plastic itself, which I never like doing because it weakens it. And eventually that screw will come out as well when it wiggles free because there's no washer in there. But this guy, we're going to put probably here. I want to give fairly solid transition to be able to get up from here. All right, so the objective is basically going to be to use I don't know, I feel like right in the middle would have actually been perfect. We're going to start with this one, and we might move this further that way. We'll see how hard it is, but I want this to be a good solid anchor at the end of the traverse, moving from right to left to be able to really get up to the sloper that we're going to consider. So visualizing how this is going to work in my mind, I've got solid grab with my right hand right here. I'll be able to reach up to this. And from here, be able to do a fancy transition over, maybe with a heel on this to go this way. No, actually I wouldn't transition over quite yet. After I get a good hold on this, would be doing this to reach up and grab this sloper. Now I can transition over out of the traverse and into a vertical climb, if that makes any sense. In fact, that move actually felt pretty good right there, even without shoes. Getting there is going to be the challenge in setting this, I think. Because I don't have a whole lot of space to work with. It's really the major downside to my wall is that I can't go very far left and right. Especially I'm limited on the far end over here because this stove is in the way, which is the most obnoxious part, is the wood stove. It makes me a combination of scared / cautious not to drastically injure myself by falling into it. I would rather just have either a big wall here, which I might build, I might just put another plywood wall up here, or open space where I could put a pad where I could fall out. But so, the next move is put this up on the volume probably, because the objective is going to be to go from here to probably putting this little foot chip in. Be able to swing down, transition over to that little foot chip. With shoes on, I'd be able to make that. Then try and go left hand up. Probably. Yeah, I think so. That actually looks pretty good. Feel like it's coming together. I have no idea how well I'm conveying any of these thoughts on camera. Often find when I watch other people either climbing or especially route setting like this, that I kind of end up at some point just nodding along and watching them go through the motions. And I think part of the reason for that is it's very hard to follow along when you don't know what the intentions are. And with route setting, it's easy to get lost in the details, and with climbing, you kind of just, you ever have that feeling where you're reading a book and at some point you realize that half a page ago or even further back, you just stopped absorbing the information and you just kept going over all the words at a normal reading pace, but you weren't really reading. You were just scanning and bypassing everything. I feel like that same thing happens to me when I watch climbing for too long at a period of time, where I stop trying to think from their perspective of how to solve a problem and instead start thinking from a point of view of like just watching them solve it, right? You're listening, or you're hearing but not listening, or you're seeing but not reading, if that makes sense. And I don't know how easy it is to follow along with what I'm saying, but I think that a large part of that, of getting lost like that, is that it's an underrated skill of how you present. That I'm trying to get better at, and that's one of the reasons I I actually have started enjoying the stream like this is that when I first started doing this for climbing's sake, the point was to record myself. And I figured rather than have a giant video folder on my computer where I have lots of individual recordings, why don't I just keep the whole thing running and have long recordings? And then I thought, rather than doing recordings at all, why don't I just live stream it? That way, if people want to come hang out, they could. If people want to see what's going on, they can. But I'll have 30 days of stored VODs that I can just go back to and review any of my climbs for. So far, I think it's actually been working out fairly well. I'm not doing this for money. Not as like a virtue signaling thing, but I don't ever intend to. I will never accept subs. If you want to give me money, you can buy some of my products, which I hope to be able to sell fairly soon. If you want to sub, if you have Prime, there's other better people that would appreciate it more and that could use it more than me. Not that that should really be a surprise. There's lots of great streamers out there, I mean. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought there. But anyway, I'm not doing it for like notoriety or cash. This is just for fun for me. So, but an unexpected and unintended benefit I've noticed for myself is that I'm actually enjoying trying to collect my thoughts and present. I guess to the extent that anyone does. I think it's been somewhat useful that I'm not a very good teacher, not a very good presenter. So it's been useful so far to practice that, especially now, or I guess not now because COVID's basically over. The lockdowns are all but done. But when I first started, would have been an even better time to get into the habit of some practice. All right, so this is an easy, stable position, I think, or a reasonable, stable position. Probably put a foot here, but we're going to definitely need some sort of nearby move, just something big. Probably just at the top corner of the volume, either here or the next one up. Because I'm not going to be able to generate a whole lot of power off of these. Staticking it will probably be the way to go. Static with the arms and a boost with the feet to jump. Looks like I got a little bit of delay, Dan. Let me see this one more time. Yeah. Camera on the left is a little bit faster than the one on the right again. So let me see if I can reset this and check my battery. Yeah, it says 21%. I don't know. We'll see if it crashes sometime soon. Testing my theory here, among other things. But let me get this, and if I do this, refresh it, does this work? Oh, now I'm sideways. Yeah, see, I got it fixed. They got the sync fixed. Don't know why it suddenly turned sideways on me, though. All right, well, got the cameras reset. I'm gonna clean up my finger one more time. That dyno route's gonna be sick when I actually make that, though. Pretty pretty pumped about how that's coming together. So, all right, so let's keep moving. I need something somewhat positive, but not huge. So not this yellow one, I don't think. Maybe something like this would be good. That's pretty good size positive hold. Maybe the yellow is better. Maybe we'll go with yellow for maybe we can do yellow at like a bad angle. Would almost like to put yellow as the first one up there. I think I'll do that. Get my glasses on again. See if I can reach that from this ladder. I don't know if I'll be able to, but we'll try. First one on the actual roof panel. So, let me see if I can get up here or not. First off, this guy should be down there. I think I'm going to need the other ladder. Definitely have to move it back. We'll save this for some other time. What we'll do is I'll scavenge another bolt for here. Way too much. There we go. In fact, maybe that one didn't too big. Yep, that's better. All right. Try and put this right at the top corner of the volume. Yeah, the ladder needs to be moved out. Actually pleasantly surprised that my camera has not yet died. I think my socks are shot. Big toe keeps popping through my socks. Make it a bigger reach than I was hoping for. And then I would like that yellow one to be here. This is going to be a huge number of holes on one route. I think that'll be okay though. I don't need to set up a whole bunch of pads for this because it's all fairly static, but I'm going to get my shoes back on. We'll give this 1 or 2 climbs just to test out where we think we'll need to put more stuff. As I said already, I'm not going to go crazy because my finger is now busted for a totally unrelated reason to why I thought my finger was busted. Now my skin is dead, so tape this up right after I'm done climbing out here, but we're gonna go, basically, I'll need some other foot up here. But we'll do something like this just to get started. Oof. So I'm super not used to this type of climbing, which is good. It'll be a good way to practice. All right, bro. Who keeps buying these bot accounts for this? And let's see. Oh, dude, you are so lucky that I suck at OBS. I'm not even sure how to ban you. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go to my phone. I'm going to cancel this video feed, probably, to go to Dank Chat. Just for the sake of killing you, dude. Oh my God, and I can't load it because it's not on my history. All right, you live this time, but or get you later. If he types again, Calvin, kill him. All right, big distraction. Back to work here. I don't know how to ban people on OBS, dude. Like I thought it was like one button, but I don't know. Here, Kelvin, I'm gonna mod you. Ban this guy. Maybe I can do this. All right. This one I can do from Dank Chat. This is totally consuming my attention span, so. Man, I don't even know how to mod people on this. All right, chat modes. Oh, this is so frustrating. Should have modded you guys a long time ago, I guess. Oh, this is ridiculous. Kermit, how do you ban somebody on OBS? Like, isn't it supposed to be like one button? I don't know. Thought it was like one button to do this. Oh, obviously, yeah. Thanks, man. I totally forgot that was a thing. Tomas TV 12121. He's even got a bot name. There we go. Shot him. Now, back to work, because I get distracted pretty easily. I'm just going to start using these feet. Probably put another handhold somewhere to make the move over to this one an actual movement as well. Because I don't really like that two-hand start there, but oof, man, that's rough. I get basically nothing on that right hand. I can hold myself up there, but like all of my weight is right, or sorry, left on this. So I really need to get some way to kick over if I'm gonna sweep over here. Not even sure if I can hold myself up here with this though. And especially not to be able to reach back. The end goal is to wind up in this position. Whoa, that feels so far out of reach. All right. End goal. If I could make it to here, I'm probably going to watch a video of that one climb, Ironman Traverse, and try and replicate those moves. Thanks, by the way, Carmen. I think I said that, but I wanted to say it again. You know, totally forgot you can just do /ban or /, whichever one it is. This is not sufficient. I need a better hold than this one. I need something much more positive. But let's do the next section of it. Suppose I made it to here by some miracle, and I was in this bicycle position. How do I get transition over? It's going to be fairly difficult. But I also want my right foot up here. So if I make it to this position, there we go. Oof. That is tough. But I like that move, actually. It's a lot of torque in my left arm. I don't know if I'd be able to do that if I were fresh or not. Suppose let's make it this foot, because that foot's better. I think this chip is just a little too thin for me. I can spin that one. I'll spin that one to make it much more positive. I can do that right now. Wanted this to be a very technical slippery route. I might end up getting that plus very, very power and strength heavy burly route at the same time. All right. This light blue hold is very asymmetric. So one face, the one I did have facing, well, the one that I was pulling on was fairly negative. Thanks to the volume, it was about a few degrees more negative than it normally is on a flat surface. Now, the slightly positive end should be about neutral. So, over here, that's a good move. That's a quality move right at my skill level. Where it's very hard. But that one I think I could get if I were fresh. And we're going to go ahead and cheat to get up there. If there's even a spot to do that. You know what? I'm going to come from the other side. There's not even a way to cheat up here. I think it's just the end of the day. This is shaping up to be every single move being like what would it be a crux on my other routes. Which is good because I've been in the habit of setting too easy. So, parts that I'm satisfied with, this is just a mental note for me. Check the VOD before next week where I continue this. This move is good. Here. Swinging over with the right foot up here. I might even put another foot, a better, more positive foot than this one, a little lower because I think that would help get to that position. And then if we need to make it harder going forward, we'll use that one again. That move is good. I just have no strength in my arms whatsoever. I think a lower foot here would help. So with the high foot, using my right foot, the highness of this hold is kind of tilting me back away from where I want to go. If I had a little lower here, I would be able to be much more in line with it and still able to push down to get myself glued in there. Because right now I'm basically pulling sideways here. My main force generation is I just can't generate a lot on this sloper. So my main force generation is actually just pushing down kind of sideways, which is never what you want to do for, especially on a pocket because that's bad for your fingers, but it's just never what you want to do in terms of force generations. You always want to, no matter what it is, you want to pull through the hold. So in this case, you want to pull against the normal. In this case, since it's oriented this way, the pocket, I want to pull down here, not this way. I am pulling this way, and it's just not really working. I could rotate it, but I kind of like it a little off kilter this way. Might need to tune it just a little bit. Just a tiny rotation might help improve things. But I think the first thing would be putting a foot here. And you know what? I have a foot. I just sanded one down today that I think might be perfect for this. Nope. For some reason I did not sand this one down. I don't know why. This piece right here. It's a copy of that little orange triangle. It's already on the wall. That would have been pretty much perfect for that. But I can always use one of these screw this on somewhere like here. Try to use the most negative side of it. I would rather have big holes that are not positive. For this particular type of route, I would rather have it stick out from the wall further and in a big sloping manner. So I might even just use this big guy I've got here. I don't know. That's one option. Was hoping to use this as an actual hand, somewhere on the volume. Stick it up there. You know, with the volume's assistance, it would basically be at about that angle. So it would be a wide, flat ledge. But I don't think that's in the cards. Either way, I think I'm about finished for the night. I got about 10 minutes left, maybe total. I'm obviously, like, I can't even hold this position, but I'm liking the way this is shaping up. It just needs, in fact, I don't even care if that were the finish. Getting to that black one could be even the finish for where we are now. Like, I don't even need to go further than that. I was going to put that yellow one up here on the roof, but that's right. Default mods for this channel is Ellis Mods. Ellis Mods should be a sub-emote, but it'll work as just mods for this channel. I should have Gura Aim on this channel too. I think I put that in. I don't know for sure though. I think I enabled that. I went on a spree and enabled all the Fumo emotes because it's Friday, and a bunch of other ones that were sorely lacking in this channel. I bet if I put this up here right now, I have a good feeling that this is still a difficult swing, a difficult move. And you know what? I'm not actually even convinced that this is totally necessary. I don't know if this is a necessary move. I also don't know if anybody can hear me because I'm very far away. I forget sometimes that my setup is different. For rock climbing, I don't have, I don't wear a wire. I just have them sitting next to the wall, over here and over there, because I don't want to have wires and stuff getting caught on holds when I'm falling. But grab a couple of screws. Need more of the short screws, I guess. Grab this hold. And we'll put it right in between. Probably like this orientation. Let me do that actually. One more. See how this feels. So I'm going to swing down from something like this. Huge flag. That's good. I like that. Let's try the huge flag again. There we go. And then you're in sloper town. That'll be a good route. That'll be a good problem. I like it. It'll be a hard horizontal traverse, starting from this direction. Pretty much have every hold from this row of bolts to this row of bolts. Until you get over to here, you'll be crawling along like shimmying on a rope, hand over hand this way with feet up until you can make this move. Like, probably have a big bicycle or big heel hook on one of these two to eventually find some way. Man, that's going to be impossible though to go from that level and swing up to this. But I already showed I could do that move. And then once you get to here, now you're in Sloper Town, out of the traverse. And it's just straight up. So it'll be the L route, the L problem. You come across this way in a straight line, make a sharp turn, and you go straight up. Finish on that black one. I think that's probably going to be it for me for tonight. My finger's feeling better. I guess I didn't get a splinter in it, otherwise it would still be hurting. I just split open my skin. It's kind of nasty, but going for that big one. I got to fix that. Reminder to myself again, before next time, get the big ladder out, tape up all those bolt holes that are not in use so I can't shove my finger into a whole pile of splinters. Cut open my knuckles again. All right. Yeah, that's going to be it for me. We will finish this one up on next week. I might even move it. My ligament feels great, so I might even move this back to every 4 days instead of every week. Don't know yet. We'll see how that feels in a few days from now. I was doing every 4 days. After I overworked my finger, I moved it back to a week. But I guess like 2 days from now, the Salt Lake City Bouldering Finals for IFSC were actually, it's a 2 weekend thing. So it was on the 20th, no, it was on the 22nd, and it'll be on the 29th. Yeah, the 29th. So I'm going to be doing the same thing I did last time. I don't know if any of you guys are interested, but like a watch party type thing. I'm not going to be like streaming, broadcasting with a mic. I'll just restream the show, and I'll just be in chat. You know, I actually like that better. I like that dynamic better. Like with Jackbox and restreaming like IFSC is to, you know, to be one of you guys rather than like me being the only person talking. There's already commentators for it, so they sucked last time, but I mean, that's not my problem. It's more fun to be one of the viewers, and they disabled their own live chat like a couple of competitions ago for whatever knows reason. Super dumb. So we'll do that. Same type of watch party as last time. I think both of you guys were there at some point or another. I don't even know if you're still in the stream, but I'm just talking to myself most likely. And in any case, have a great rest of your day, guys. And I will catch you next time.